Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the I Am CEO podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Silke of SilkCelia. Silke, is awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Gresham, to invite me on your show. I'm very excited.
I'm excited as well, and what I want to do is just read a little bit more about Silke so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And hypnotherapist helps to overcome stress, anxiety, and burnout in 4 hours. Silke helps leaders who go through life challenging situations and life changes resulting in burnout, stress, and anxiety. She holds an MA degree in psychology from Ludwig Maximillian University in Munich, Germany. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, NLP Master Practitioner, rapid transformation therapy practitioner, Theta Healer, and is trained in family constellation and applied neuroscience coaching. She developed her own method over 15 years to lift the heavy fog of exhaustion, helplessness, reduce vitality and negative thoughts into wellbeing and zest in 4 sessions. Silke, are you ready to speak to the I Am CEO community?
Yes, very much. Much. I'm very excited.
Awesome. Let's do it. So I appreciate that tongue twister. There's a lot of big words in your bio, but what I wanted to do was just hear a little bit more about what I call your CEO story and what led you to start your business.
Yes. So I have a master degree in psychology, in organizational psychology. And in the last 15 years, I concentrated on coaching and counseling. But then there came a time I felt really stuck, because in coaching, you create mostly awareness and insights, and then you try over several sessions to change behavior. And this was actually too long for me. And I created a vision to really help people with burnout, anxiety, and depression, to lift them up or to elevate them in 4 hours. And I was very much determined, and I looked and reviewed the best tools to achieve that people really boost their well-being and performance in 4 hours.
Absolutely. And I know for everybody, time is of the essence. So getting the opportunity to be able to, unlock a lot of those opportunities sometimes within yourself and be able to do that with you is definitely awesome. And I appreciate you for being able to do that. So I wanted to drill down a little bit deeper and hear how you serve the clients could you work with. So could you drill down a little bit deeper? Tell us what you do.
Yeah. So my service, what I offer to the clients is my Elevate Intensive. And let me start with a metaphor. Just imagine your life as a computer program. And you run your life by certain instructions and commands you give to yourself. And these commands are given by your brain. Now, when you're in a very stressful situation, then out of sudden your program starts hanging, freezing, moving, or like not working very well, working very slowly. And this is what you experience. You think not clear. You can't concentrate. You can't really be creative. You can't make the best decisions. And if this stressful situation continues, then you may be forced to shut the whole system down. And what I offer in my Elevate Intensive is that in the first hour, we just look at your live program and how is it currently functioning. In the second and third session, we look at the coding. With coding, I mean, what kind of verbal instructions and commands have you given to yourself? So we analyze it, we crack your code, and then we rewrite it with much better instructions, with new instructions, with supportive instructions, so that your live program can now run in an updated version, and it will run much more smoothly. And in the final session, then you only have to restart. Yeah, you know that from if you have installed a new program, you always have to restart it. So you restart it to really settle down this new program. And the methods I'm using, you already mentioned it. In the first hour is my systemic work. How we crack the code is through hypnotherapy, and also rewriting will be with hypnotherapy. And then the last session is whatever the client still needs. It can be some affirmative recordings or whatever. Yeah, to really settle down the program.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And, you know, as you were talking, and I'm glad you gave that kind of metaphor, because I'm a computer geek and computer nut. So I'm always thinking about control, alt, delete, and how to fix things. And like you said, sometimes when you just keep things running, you have to reboot it. You have to start over. You have to, you know, check all those different, you know, programs and systems. And like you said, things you're telling yourself to make sure that they're helping you to run to optimal level. And sometimes you just have to start it over just to reboot it again. So I love that. And I love that perspective. And I wanted to ask you now for what I call your secret sauce. And you might have already touched on this, but what do you feel kind of distinguishes you or your organization?
Yeah, so what I normally do, like a secret hack that everybody can apply without doing hypnotherapy, yeah? Mm-hmm. And this is to maintain really your programs. That's very, very crucial. The other one is to change your programs, to rewrite them. But the major thing is also to maintain your program. And a method I use or recommend for this is called sneeze, like sneeze, yeah.
Like that.
And the S stands for sleep. And sleep is very, very crucial, because your nervous cells, they need ample amount of sleep. And the recommended time is actually 7 hours continuous sleep during the night, because during this time your brain has to reboot. It has to run several sleeping circles, and in this time certain hormones are released to rejuvenate yourself, to boot up a certain memories and recover, so that your cells can properly recover. And therefore, sleep is very, very crucial. And N stands for nutrition. Your nervous cells are made out of certain proteins, yeah, and fatty acids. And therefore, it's recommended to use fatty acids from olive oil, avocados, from nuts, also quite important, good proteins. Cut out any starchy carbohydrates like white rice, or you call it pasta, yeah, white pasta, or sugar, because during times of stress, your sugar levels are already heightened.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it kind of breaks up your routine, right?
Yes, break up your routine. That's a very nice paraphrase for that. And yeah, then the next one is the next S, and this stands for social activity. It's very simple. Just meet in reality with your friends. Yeah, mm-hmm. It doesn't, yeah, okay, you can meet them online, you can chat with them, but to feel the social connection is very, very different. So schedule some time in your calendar to really meet up with friends. It's very, very important. Yeah. And the last E stands for enthusiasm, what you're really excited about in your life, and that you're really on the right track of your work. Yeah. So if your work doesn't make sense at all for you, you may have to consider that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I absolutely love acronyms. I love how that's broken down. So it's sneeze, S-E-S-N-E-A-S.
S-N-E-A-S-E.
S-N-E-A-S-E. Awesome.
Like
awesome.
Yeah.
Please, exactly. I love that. It is a great reminder because I think that sometimes we think that it's just one thing that, helps us to be well or in good health, so to speak. But there's so many different aspects to that, and making sure that you are being active, like you mentioned, you are taking time to have those social connections, you are taking care of what you eat and things like that.
Yes.
All of it makes a big part of how healthy you are.
Yeah. And if you only pick two items, how you say,
Of the
it's not
letters.
a number, it's a letter.
Yeah, it's an
If you
acronym.
use only two letters, that's already enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
definitely.
is.
What's the best way they can?
Yeah, so the best way, excuse me,
No, hear
yeah,
about it.
the best way for you to connect with me is through my website. My website is called SilkCelia.com. And if you scroll down, you will find a masterclass. This one you can also attend, and you know or learn about how you can reprogram your stress into well-being. And you also get an insight in my method. Or you go scroll down and you book your free consultation session. Everything is on the website. If you're on LinkedIn, you will find me on Silke Glaab. You have to write it down. But I believe the easiest way is really through my website.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate you, and we will have those links in the show notes so that anybody that wants to follow up with you, to connect with you on LinkedIn, or of course on your website as well. We'll definitely have that below. But I appreciate you again, Silk, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you very much, Krishan, and also you listeners. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you got nuggets and hacks out of it. If you're already quite busy during your work time, you're supposed to do something more relaxing, and this can be yoga, tai chi, qigong, something like this, or just walking. Yeah, if you have a dog, it's always easier. Yeah, but just to walk. The next S, the second S, stands for social interactions. Meet up with your friends in reality. Yeah, schedule time that you meet people in person. That's very, very also important, because then you have this feeling of bonding, you get another perspective, oxytocin is released. This also gives you a feeling that you belong and you are safe. Yeah. And the last one is E, that stands for excitement, enthusiasm, and it can be passion for life, it can be passion for your work. Maintain it with sneeze. Sneeze as much as you can. And if you feel overwhelmed with 6 items, choose only 2. And I always recommend look at your sleep. Yeah, that's the most neglected thing from people. Often people think, yeah, it's enough to sleep 4 or 5 hours. If you're young, if you're in your 20s, you think, I'm young enough, I recover. But no, yeah, it's our brains are still functioning in a certain way. Yeah, it's our reptile brain, and even if you live in the 21st century, it's still working like that, and you can't recover from that or can redo it during the daytime, and then just select one of the other ones I mentioned.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I love that acronym. I like acronyms because it makes it easier for me to remember, but also to be able to get and understand that, it's not just one thing that makes an impact. It's all of these things, and they're all kind of intertwined as well, too. So maybe, if you're focusing on one aspect, like your nutrition, you also can make sure, like you mentioned, to get more sleep, or if you're not having enough social time with your friends and family, you need to incorporate that. But you get an idea of how all those factors can kind of have an impact on you.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM276.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.